As an agency owner, I've made money with every single acquisition channel there is. S tier makes you rich. F tier will keep you a slave to your business. Now, before I move on with the video, why should you listen to me? Well, my name is Leo. I've scaled 3 agencies past $50,000 a month, with one of them scaling all the way to 150. And at this point, I've worked with over 150 agency owners on paid ads, acquisition, fulfillment, consulting, really helping them solve a bunch of different bottlenecks within their agencies. So I know a little bit about the agency model, I think. Now let's jump in. For context, I'm not ranking any of these acquisition channels on does it work? No, I'm ranking it on does it make you rich? Is it going to help you scale your business further without making you the bottleneck? Okay, this is the perspective that I'm ranking these from. And there's really 5 things that make up my perspective. Number 1, predictability. Number 2, scalability. Number 3, lead quality and margin. Number 4, speed to cash. Number 5, leverage. And the reason why I'm making this video is because the mistake that so many agency owners make, and the one that you are probably making right now, is based on these acquisition channels, you are probably just choosing the one that works. But it's not just about choosing the one that works. We want the one that scores an 8 or 9 or 10 out of 10 in terms of predictability and leverage. And if you don't consider these 5 different factors that I've just mentioned so far in terms of choosing your acquisition channel for your agency, you can get stuck in the revenue range that you're at right now. Anywhere between 0 to 5K, 5 to 15, 15 to 30. Anywhere within that revenue range, you can get stuck if you don't choose the right acquisition channel from early on. And at the end of the video, I'm going to reveal the one acquisition channel out of all of the ones that I'll review that changed everything for me and my clients. We'll get there soon. To start out with, we have cold DMs. I'm going to put that in D tier. Now, honestly, this was one of the first acquisition channels that I used to try and get clients for my agency, and that you probably used or are currently using to get clients for yours as well. It's a great place to start out with, get some market data, see what they're saying to you, and then try and make better decisions around your outreach, etc. And it's great when you're starting out because you can start at 0, you don't have to put money into it, and you can literally get clients from it. But the problem is that it doesn't scale, it eats your time, and it makes you the bottleneck within your agency over time. And that's why I put it into D tier, because if you want to reach a certain level of scale within your agency, it's not going to be the acquisition channel that'll get you there. It's very good as a starter channel, but not a scaling channel. Because cold DMs will get you your first 5 clients, but not your next 50. Next one is personal brand and content, so stuff around IG and YouTube. And in my opinion, this is S tier. It's interesting because the amount of agency owners that don't leverage this is insane, but the ones that do are the ones that are winning and the biggest in the space. And the beauty of personal branding and content is that it becomes an asset because it builds trust with your prospects while you sleep. You film one video, and that video can last you a lifetime in terms of nurturing prospects and prospects having a touch point with you before even buying. And I can understand why agency owners don't see personal branding or content as one of the first things that they need to be doing, because it's not something that will get them clients immediately. And it's true, right? Like, personal branding works in a way where it's slower to start, right? But it builds leverage over time as you consistently post more, and then it becomes a real asset and an amplifier for whatever else you have. And with my current agency, we've probably been focused on personal brand for the last, I'd say, 9 months, and it's changed the game for us. Like, it's helped us stand out from so many other agencies because I have a brand behind my Instagram, specifically that channel, and then my YouTube having a certain amount of subscribers and videos that consistently nurtures new prospects and brings them into our funnel. And if I didn't have the personal brand or the content that we have right now, we would have probably made half the money that we have. So start a personal brand and content because it will actually compound into something in the long run. Okay, so the next one we have is referrals, and I'm going to put that into B tier. Now, the reason why I put referrals into B tier is because it's an actually decent acquisition channel. Like, it can get you really, really good leads. They will close 90% of the time. They're super warm. They know you, like you, trust you, right? That's all great. But the problem is that it doesn't scale. You can't scale referrals. It doesn't compound into something next and next and next month. And it becomes just a thing where you might get some 1 month and you might get none for the next 9 months. So that's why I put it into B tier. Because the most important thing behind an A or S tier acquisition channel is that it compounds. It's predictable over time. And with referrals, you can't control the volume and you can't control who's going to come in at the right time. So to sum up referrals, they will be the best leads and the best prospects that you will ever get, but it's going to make the worst business model to scale your business on. Next one is buying leads or like lead lists, which I'm going to put straight into F tier. I don't really think I have to say much here. They're generally very, very garbage quality and you are paying for other people's rejects. This is an acquisition channel people leverage to feel busy, but actually be broke. Moving on to the next one, we'll move into cold email, which I will actually put into A tier. Now, the reason why I put it into A tier is because it's cheap. It's good for B2B, especially for like agency owners, and it works at volume. Now, the reason why I put cold email only into A tier and not S is because there are tons of deliverability and infrastructure headaches, and it's such low trust in comparison to inbound. So it's a strong acquisition channel, but it's just not S tier. After this, we have networking events and masterminds. I'm going to put that in C tier. What I've found with networking events and masterminds is it's better for building relationships rather than trying to get clients. Because if you go to a networking event really trying to get clients, you're one of 50 people trying to achieve the same thing. You're just trying to sell. And honestly, it's just not going to work. I've tried it. Maybe I've gotten a couple of clients here and there. I've heard of a client, a few clients of mine getting a couple of clients here and there as well. But it's not going to be something that you can achieve at scale. And a lot of the time, you'll just waste your time because a lot of networking events are just trash, and the ones that are actually good are only really good for just making friends and building relationships for maybe partnerships in the future, but nothing around like signing clients. Now, that's exactly the reason why I put networking events and masterminds into C tier, because from the partnerships that you may be able to develop from it, those can be really, really good, especially with the right people. But a lot of the time, it's really just a go-to place to learn and just connect with people. Next one, you have YouTube ads. I'm going to put that into A tier. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't actually ran YouTube ads myself, and I don't think I really ever will, maybe until we get to a certain point. And I know a lot of the biggest names in the space who actually do run YouTube ads, and I'm curious as to how it goes for them. But from what I've heard from my friends, it's good in terms of like a paid acquisition channel. The leads are high intent, but there are some deliverability issues, and it takes a little longer to work in comparison to like Meta ads, for example. But overall, from what I've seen and from what I've heard, it has a good scale ceiling, and it's very, very good for high ticket. So that's why it's an A tier. Next one, we have cold calling. I'm going to put that into D tier. Man, cold calling was my first acquisition channel. I would go into Google Maps, I would dial up a bunch of med spas and see if I could get them to book in a call, and then I would try and pitch them, and I would close a small percentage of those leads and prospects. And it was a great starter channel. Like, you can get clients from cold calling, but man, it just takes up so much of your time. It's brutal to have an outbound sales team. Like, those can work at scale, but cold calling is brutal, man. And, more and more people are doing it now. Lots more people are more skeptical onto, in terms of like the calls and the cold calls that they get, because everyone is doing it, right? So that's why I'm going to put it into D tier. Again, it's a great starter channel, but it's not a scaling channel. Unless you have a large sales team and you have like a book of warm outbound leads, people who have interacted with you before, but like not necessarily people who are cold and like absolute strangers, but it can work. And I can tell you, it's a headache to manage an outbound sales team because you constantly have to review calls, track KPIs, and then once you've gotten to the point where you can delegate that, you don't have to pay those people, but still kind of monitor them. It's too much headache, honestly. In my opinion, I wouldn't want that. I'm never going to use that unless I get to maybe like $1 billion, but I wouldn't generally do it, and it doesn't really align with like premium positioning or our brand, especially if you're building a personal brand. It doesn't align with that, so I wouldn't recommend cold calling unless you are starting out. Next one is partnerships and JV affiliates. I'm going to put this one in B tier. As I mentioned earlier, whether it's from a networking event or a mastermind or just a partnership that came through organic or something else, if you can land the right partner that genuinely aligns with your business, it can be incredible, and it could be a very, very good form of leverage. Because if it's the right audience and it aligns with who your ICP actually is, then you can make a ton of money. But the reason why I put it in B tier is because it's an unpredictable source and it's very tough to systemize. And at the same time, it's very tough to find these partnerships, especially where it's enough of a profitable deal for you and also the vendor or the partner that you are doing this with. So that's why I put it in B tier. Next one is SEO and blog posts. I'm going to put this into D tier. It can compound, but it is painfully slow and it can easily get disrupted. So it can compound eventually and produce like a client a month, maybe 2 clients a month, but it's painfully slow and it can get easily disrupted. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend it if you're looking for cash flow now or in the next 3 months. It's just not going to be the acquisition channel for you. Next one is going to be Google Ads and PPC. I'm going to put this in B tier. It's super high intent because the person is directly searching for your service, but the problem is that it's very limited in most industries and niches. And because it's limited, it becomes incredibly expensive to acquire clicks, let alone customers. So the reason why I put it into B tier is because it's a good supplement, but it rarely carries the entire campaign for your agency. So I recommend maybe pairing it with another main acquisition channel that drives your direct lead source and all of the traffic that you get, maybe 90% of it. Maybe you can drive an extra 10, but that's really it. Next one is Twitter organic. I'm going to put that into D tier. I'll be honest, I don't have much experience with Twitter, so I don't really have much to say, but from the people that do use it, I've heard that the leads are quite low intent. So it's going to be quite difficult to close them, especially on a high level of scale. And that's when it becomes kind of tough to monetize it directly, especially for high ticket. Next one is podcasting, where you are like directly the host or you're like a guest on it. I'm going to put that into C tier. I would probably view podcasting as a vehicle for the personal brand acquisition channel, but as an acquisition channel on its own, it's going to be very indirect and slow to convert. So yeah, I don't know if you'll see many results from it, but yeah, I mean, it's good at building trust and relationships with others. So yeah, it could fuel maybe a deal or two here and there. That could be high ticket, but it's not going to be something that's consistent. Next one is going to be LinkedIn Organic. I'm going to put this into C tier. So I've actually used LinkedIn before, and it's decent, or at least it used to be. Now, in terms of LinkedIn Organic on its own, because LinkedIn paid ads are different, with LinkedIn Organic, it's going to be good for B2B. Like, you can find a lot of prospects there potentially, but it's going to be slow and time intensive, very similar to cold DMs, and it's heavily reliant on personal brand. Like, if you have a good amount of followers, you have a little bit more leverage, you can get connected with a lot more people there. But it's also turning into like corporate spam and people like bragging and showing off, and it's just too corny, honestly. So I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I mean, if it's working for you, then great, awesome. I think if you do a lot of volume on it, like you have a bunch of accounts that send a lot of organic messages every single day, yeah, maybe you can book a decent amount of calls. Again, I've never really done it on that level of scale, so I can't really comment on it too much, but from the accounts that I've done it on, maybe 2 max, it was okay, but it didn't really book me appointments that were high intent anyways. It was really people that were like cheap and looking for a deal. So yeah. Next one is going to be LinkedIn paid ads, and I'm going to put this into B tier. Now, with LinkedIn paid ads, I've actually heard really, really good things, especially for more high intent leads. So it's quite similar to Meta ads. I will be honest, I'm not the biggest expert in LinkedIn paid ads, but what I will say is it works very similarly. So given that context and from what I've heard from some of my friends who do run LinkedIn ads, I think it would be good, but it is a slightly more expensive than, for example, Meta ads or Google ads to acquire more customers there. I think it also takes a little bit of time to build up. So yeah, but what I would say is, again, I'm not an expert in LinkedIn paid ads, so use this information for what you will, but I would still kind of treat this as like a B tier thing because it could work, and I've seen it work for people before. But again, for agency owners specifically, I'm not sure if it's the best acquisition channel. I've seen it work for like weight loss, fitness coaches, but I'm not sure how well it works on a B2B scale. Next one is going to be direct mail, and I'm going to put this into D tier. So this is really funny. I've actually heard a couple of stories of agency owners who send like postcards or like direct mail to businesses and pitch them through there. And I mean, it works here and there because it's unique, right? Like it stands out from the rest of the messages or the cold pitches that those businesses are getting. But again, it's not scalable. You can't do that on a high level, and it's expensive and it's not going to be worth it most of the time. Now, for the final acquisition channel that's changed my life, my clients' lives and their businesses and my business, it's going to be Meta ads, and I'm going to put this into S tier. In my opinion, specifically for the agency model, Meta ads is the best acquisition channel out there in comparison to all of the ones that I mentioned so far, because it produces the best results within the shortest period of time with the least amount of required spend relative to the results that you can achieve with it. Because a lot of the time you put $1 in and you can usually get anywhere between $2 to $5 out. So it kind of becomes like a money vending machine. And out of all of these different acquisition channels, it wins on predictability, scalability, speed, and delegation. But the only caveat with Meta ads is that it's only going to be S tier if you can engineer it for more qualified leads. So if you don't have revenue callouts, a high level offer, and you don't condition your meta pixel, it's not going to work. But if you do, this is going to be one of the only acquisition channels where if you decide you want to grow next month, you can actually make it happen. So if there's anything that you're going to take away from this video, there isn't going to be one perfect acquisition channel for your business and your agency. You will make the most money if you can maximize 1 to 4 acquisition channels all at the same time. Because the biggest agencies in the space are just the ones that can convert the most strangers into paying customers, primarily from cold traffic. Because you can genuinely make a lot of money with your acquisition channel stack as long as they cover reach, trust, and predictability. That's it. And what I've seen generally work for clients the best is a mixture of paid ads, personal brand and content, and referrals. Paid ads brings in the predictability and reach at scale. Personal branded content builds trust and warms up the prospects before you speak to them. And you can ask for referrals every single time that you close a customer. If you can leverage these 3 acquisition channels together, you will build a flywheel ecosystem where your prospects continue to see you and build trust with you until they buy. And that's the beauty of turning strangers into paying customers. No matter how long it takes, it could be a month, 3 months, 4 months, a year, and it will always continue to just get them into the next step and the next step and closer to your offer and closer to your offer until they have a bad week, until they produce less appointments, and until they actually need your solution to help them solve their problem. Now, aside from that, if you've gotten to the end of the video and you feel like, okay, I mean, this is all really, really good, all valuable info, I might be doing this, I might not be doing this, and you feel like a lot of this could be really, really good for your agency, but you just need help in terms of implementing this because you might lack skill, time, or you just want someone to do it with you or for you, then feel free to book a call with me using the link in the description of this video. Or you can just message me on IG using the word operator and we can have a chat from there and see if we can help your agency grow.